I've got people. I've got a county judge. I've got Brandon. You remember saying that?
I don't recall the conversation, but I have read it and I know I said it.
Do you have a county judge?
No.
Do you know a county judge?
No. I know of a judge who I asked custody battle related questions to one time and later found out he wasn't even a family court judge.
Brandon, that's Brandon Strickland, right?
Right, and we're not friends. I don't know him. I just was
You
given
the judge or to my Brandon?
the judge.
Okay. And Brandon, you were friends, right?
Brandon and I was friends, yes.
And you called him to the scene.
I did.
He didn't come.
He didn't come.
All right. You remember talking to someone and telling them that the solicitor is a friend of yours and he relayed a message to get Boyd to be in the clear?
I can't hear
Do you remember telling somebody that the solicitor was a friend?
I know that I said that.
Is the solicitor a friend?
No,
You know who the solicitor is, right?
I do.
Have you met him?
Once that I can recall.
What do you recall about that?
He came into the restaurant, introduced himself as who he was, what he did, asked for my support, and he ate lunch, and I spoke to him for 5-10 minutes while he ate, and then he left.
You call any other meetings with him?
No,
You know anything about his family or where he lives?
no,
Is he a friend?
no,
Have any reason to think that he was intervening on your behalf?
no.
But you said it, right?
I said it.
All right. This is during this same time frame. Mark, Your Honor, defendants 66. I want to talk to you about these. Let me show you court's document. Let me ask if you recognize it.
These appear to be text messages between, no, it's me at the top. Okay, this is me speaking to my mother.
Do you remember?
I don't recall this conversation, no.
It was 5 days after it, September 14th.
Yes, 5 days.
This is you to your mom, your trusted confidant.
Okay.
Did you read it? Publish it for the court.
You want me to read it out loud?
If you feel comfortable. If not,
Yeah,
can
I
read it.
can.
You can tell me if I got it right.
Mama, I only followed him because he aimed a gun at innocent people. I told the police I was going to stay with him so they could find him. I had no idea that would lead to a gunfight. I just wanted a cop to get this guy off the road. I even told the dispatcher he would probably shoot a cop. Even when he aimed at us, we didn't pull our guns. We didn't pull our guns until he started shooting.
Now, this is 5 days after to your mom.
Correct.
And this is the same time these phone calls went on. Well, they went on for about 4 days. But this is right after.
Correct. Same time period.
All right. You recognize the text on the next page?
I don't recall it, but it looks, I don't know who I'm talking to in this one.
Can you tell us the text that you sent?
I did not know the guy. I did not know this guy. All I knew in that moment was that in that moment he was a dangerous person.
Well, the court can have it. Do you remember making this conversation?
I don't remember this conversation.
Okay.
Keep going.
But you only know if you remember the next one. Is this your text?
It's a conversation with me. I don't know who I'm talking to in this one.
Do you remember it?
No, I think I'm talking to my mom in this one. I don't remember this conversation.
To somebody you said what? In the middle of the page.
Huh?
In the middle of the page you said what? You said to bring me a Diet Coke, right?
We're on different pages.
Okay. What you got?
All right, next one.
You remember this one?
I do not remember this one.
Okay, let's skip it. page that starts September 17th at 9:03. You see it?
I do.
Remember this text?
I do not, but I believe I'm speaking to my mother.
It's your text, isn't it?
It is my text.
Can you read what you typed?
Yes, the entire night. I woke up once and just cried. I don't know why. His mom is on my mind, and she's all I can think about. I just cried and fell back asleep. I cried on the way to the farm again, and I don't know why. I just feel so sorry for his mom, but I slept, and I needed that. I just want to tell her that I'm sorry, but I can't because that will look like guilt.
You remember sending that text?
No.
But you felt that way, evidently, because you put it in there. I don't know. Do you know? Can you explain these things that were going on?
No. I want to understand it, but I don't. I don't understand it.
Did you intend to hurt that man?
No.
Would you have fired him had he not fired you?
No. I gave him every chance He really just got back in the truck.
Boyd, I'm not going to ask you more questions now. These other attorneys probably will. And give your time and attention to them, please.
Just, you want to go first? I absolutely want to go. Go ahead.
I think it should be
Okay.
Mr. Tinsley.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Let's start where we left off. We're going to back up. We're going to go in the same order you went for this judgment. We're going to start. You still got those text messages in front of you?
Exhibit 66.
Mama, I only followed him because he aimed the gun at innocent people. But you were already following him, weren't you?
I don't know what point you're talking about.
The part when you started following him. Remember when you showed those exhibits of that Jeep? That's the first time you saw him aim a gun at anybody, right?
He aimed a gun at us too.
The innocent people. The innocent people you're talking about right here, you've already taken pictures of him before, and you're already following him when you're taking the pictures, aren't you?
I started following him when he aimed a gun at my friend's head.
Okay. But that's not the innocent people you're talking about, is it?
He was innocent.
Okay. You're already following him well before you see the Jeep, right?
After he aimed a gun at us.
And you heard, yesterday, you heard Mr. Wright say he didn't point the gun out the window when he went flying by you. He didn't do that, did he?
He did do that.
Okay. The second page, I wanted to ensure he didn't get away from the cops. And I thought I was protecting someone, somewhere. You even said at one point in time, he might have had a wife at home he was going to go home and do something too. So you were going to stop him, weren't you?
No, that wasn't my intention.
Well, who was the someone, somewhere?
When someone's acting like that, I don't know who he's out to cause damage to.
You know that from your CWP training, and you brought it up, I think, 3 times today, you know that when you will have a right to use deadly force, it's in that moment when you have to strike to protect somebody. It has to be immediate, the threat, right?
I don't recall it being instructed that way to me.
You think I can point a gun at you, you go home tonight, come find me tomorrow and shoot me?
That's not in any way what this situation is.
The things that happened back down towards Bell and Bell don't have anything to do with why you shot him, does it?
I wasn't at Bell and Bell at the same time he was.
That was my question. Whatever you saw happen back down the road has absolutely nothing to do with why you shot Scott Spivey, does it?
I shot Scott Spivey because he shot at us.
Right. That's my point. And you didn't see an extended magazine in his truck, did you?
I didn't go in his truck.
You didn't see it when you were shooting him.
He was outside of the truck when we started
That's right.
shooting.
That's right. Didn't have anything to do with it, right? Couldn't smell an odor of alcohol on him as he passed you going at a high rate of speed, could you?
No.
Didn't have anything to do with why you shot him, did it?
I shot him because he shot at us.
That's right. You and I agree, and this is probably the only thing we're going to agree to. You and I agree. Now, by September the 17th, this is the text where you say, you just wish you could tell his mama you're sorry. By then, your reputation was getting ruined, wasn't it?
By then, I'm probably off social media.
Because you, and we're going to hear some of the calls, you claim your reputation was getting ruined, you were getting trashed, right?
I was.
And right before you write this text, whoever you're writing it to, you had a call where you said if you saw his mama, you would say, fuck you. Your son tried to kill me, didn't you?
I did say that.
Yes, sir. You did say that. When you broke down the first time and the judge took a break, you crying like crazy right there, and you got up and you glared at me immediately, didn't you?
I walked by you. You were glaring at me.
No, sir. How about pull up the photo? See, what you don't realize is that everything's being recorded. I think Mr. Martin must be doing something, Judge.
No, young Mr. Martin's not in here.
That's you looking at me, right?
That's me walking. Where are you?
Do you agree when Mr. Mall said that what I said was correct when you told the judge earlier, and you told me, I stood up and said that was a lie? You agree that wasn't true, right?
You did have access to our trial strategy
Your trial strategy in what?
in those text messages.
In trial strategy in what case? This case?
This case.
This case. All right. You signed a consent form, and you gave the phone to Mr. Moss. Do you have it up there?
No, so you didn't have it.
You didn't put it in? All right.
It's open in the book, right?
Let me ask you this. The judge can take notice of it. You gave the phone to Mr. Moss, I think you said, what, 3 or 4 days after the shooting, right?
I believe it was Wednesday.
Okay, 4 days. And then you went and got the phone on the 18th of November at his office, and you deleted some stuff. You told the judge about that.
I did.
And then Mr. Moss turned it over to SLED a few days after that, 3 days, I think, on the 21st. And then the phone went from here in the PD to Columbia, where it was downloaded on the 24th of September of 2023, right?
I assume so. I don't know
Okay.
where it went.
I filed this lawsuit June the 3rd, 2024. So tell me how it is your trial strategy was on that phone.
You told him that you had our information, our text messages between each other, where we have been discussing this case and how we were going to defend ourselves against the shooting and everything else going on.
Well, either he lied to you or you lied to the court, but that's not what happened. And you heard him correct you to the judge. Truth not in you, is it, Mr. Boyd?
You had messages between my attorney and I discussing the incident on September 9th.
I asked you during your deposition, had you ever been treated for any sort of mental or psychological issue, and you said no, right?
I don't recall what I said. Can I see the transcript?
This is your deposition. This is the sealed deposition. Just like I did with Mr. Wright, I'm going to tell you and take you to a page in line. There's page numbers in the top right-hand corner. If you go to page 41, and then look down at line 10. My question, have you ever been treated for any other mental or psychological problem or issue? And that other is in addition to just depression, is what you told me. Right?
Right.
And your answer was mental? No. Just normal ups and downs I think every adult goes through.
Okay.
That's what you said, right?
That's what I said.
You didn't say anything about PTSD, did you?
When I went through all of my records for the,
You didn't say anything in your deposition transcript that day under oath about PTSD, did you?
because
Yes or no?
I
And
went,
then you can explain.
when I went through my military records, as we're gathering all this stuff for this lawsuit, I went through my military records, went back to the stuff from Camp Shelby, Mississippi, and I found no diagnosis of PTSD. I thought I had been diagnosed, but I did not see it when I dug through it.
Well, that's because you wouldn't treat it to VA because you didn't want a record of it. And you were actually treating it McLeod Health, weren't you?
I didn't go to the VA because it was in Columbia and I live here.
Well, you made a number of statements about, and I'm going to get to that here in 1 second. You made a number of statements early on about your child's mother and her mother.
Correct?
And you know that your lawyer subpoenaed those records. For what reason, I have no idea, but those text messages weren't given to me. Your lawyer subpoenaed them, and then I produced them to you because they were afraid you were threatening them, right?
I don't know why you produced them to us. We were confused why you did it.
Well, you don't have to understand why I produced them, do you?
No, sir.
But you thought there was something untoward in that regard, didn't you?
I'm sorry.
You thought it was wrong for me to produce them to you.
I just thought it was odd that you're the one that jumped into it.
I thought it was odd that you would subpoena their text messages about you. And until I got them. Do you have the text? About the PTSD? Judge, this is why I decided to do it from this table, because I got so much stuff.
That podium won't hold all what you got.
You have it? Well, let me come back to that. Isn't it true, Mr. Boyd, that you treated at McLeod Health with is it Holt?
Dr. Holt?
Dr. Holt. And you, at least at the beginning in 2018, you were treating with him for PTSD and severe anger issues, weren't you?
I told Dr. Holt that I believe I may have PTSD because I thought that that's what I'd been diagnosed with at Camp Shelby, Mississippi.
Well, and Dr. Holt treated you and prescribed medication for you, did he not?
He did.
And you treated with him fairly consistently, 2018, 2019, all the way up until 2020, October, at the end of October. All of this is treatment, and you're welcome to look at it. All that's treatment for PTSD, and they're prescribing you antipsychotic medication, aren't they?
I don't know which medication he prescribed.
You were on medication for your PTSD, weren't you? and your severe anger.
Where does it say severe anger? I see anger, because I remember having this conversation with him. I don't see severe anger.
What's my next exhibit? Now, 17 and 18, John. Mr. Boyd, I'm going to show you one of the text messages that you subpoenaed from Jordan. And in that text message, she says something to the effect, she never said you were stupid. And then you remind her that you've been diagnosed with PTSD, correct?
Yeah, I say that I remember I also have PTSD. The assessment camp shall be immediately after deployment.
Yep.
And I went through those records, and there's no diagnosis in those records.
Okay. And you also told her, you said, they feel sure, this is for your disability, they feel sure we can get my knee and back approved. And then they went through my psych records and said there was enough documented there. It's hard to read.
Yeah, the record that I'm talking about here is why I dug through there trying to find it, and I could not find it.
I understand that. I'm getting to the down. I told them I didn't want PTSD on my medical records because if the gun laws got stricter, then you wouldn't be able to keep your guns, would you?
I think the red flag law is a flawed law in many states, and it's just not a problem I want to have.
You don't have to talk tough to your mama, do you, Mr. Boyd?
I think I get frustrated sometimes and talk to her tough. I think I talk to people.
But you're honest with her, aren't you?
I'm very honest with my mother.
Now, can you pull up the text message that she just? All right. So this is the download from SLED of your text messages. You told us about encountering Scott Spivey right after you'd sent that text, correct? Remember that at the beginning of your testimony? Do you remember that at the beginning of your testimony?
Yeah, I'm just trying to figure out where we're at on it.
Okay, I'm going to show you. So here's the content, there's the message, there's the direction outgoing,
Okay.
and then this text message right here, 1749, that's the last text message you send, right?
Okay.
The next one is, he shot at me, he tried to kill me.
Okay.
That's a yes?
Yes.
Okay. So you agree that's the last text message and you told the judge this morning, or whenever it was, that was when you encountered Scott Spivey, right?
I don't know when these messages were sent.
Well, the time that they were sent is
Right
right
now,
there.
I'm not sure who these are even to.
Well, I can show you. So here's another page. I'm just going to pull it out of here. And we're going to mark that as the next one, which will be, is that 19? So this is the same thing. Who is it sent to?
Where is it? Oh, I see now. Diane Ollis.
Diane Ollis. Acquaintance?
Yeah, friend.
Okay, let me put this sticker on there for the judge.
That's 19?
Yes, sir.
All right.
All right. So at 5:49, you sent Diane Ollis a text message that says Jordan had to deliver the car in the ring to the church at 1 p.m. today. My family went at 1:30 to pick it up, and Jordan pulled up across the street and watched. She had a guy with her, we think, driving. Emily J. was in the back seat. Right?
Okay.
That's what you said, right?
Yes, sir.
And then you told the judge, at the beginning of your testimony, that that's when you encountered Scott Spivey. Correct?
I believe I was told the judge that I was texting and
Yeah.
just finished up a text.
That's
And
right.
it happened at some point then.
No, you said, I finished the text and then encountered Scott Spivey. I wrote
Okay.
it down right here.
Okay.
You don't disagree with that, right? So we know exactly what time you encountered Scott Spivey. It's 5:49, 0 seconds.
It would be in that time frame.
That's
I don't know how long before or how long after that text got sent that happened.
Well, you're changing what you said now. So was what you said this morning accurate or not? Because you said I sent the text and then I encountered him as I sent that text.
I encountered him in that time period.
Okay. And you don't recall landmarks, you don't know where that was, you just know 5:49 was in the time period that you encountered him.
Yes.
Okay. Now, you really watered down the East Bay Deli thing. I think you pull up audio 59. Page 133. That's one. I'm gonna play a longer clip because I don't want to have to keep cutting it up and doing it over again. But you agree that the dispatcher that was on the phone didn't give you permission to chase Scott Spivey, did he?
No, he didn't. I didn't ask permission. I didn't chase. I didn't ask. I told him that I was going to follow.
Yes, sir. And you agree that it wasn't incumbent on Horry County dispatcher to tell you not to chase Scott Spivey, right?
I didn't chase Scott Spivey. I followed him, and no one has to give you an order or permission to follow someone who's committing felonious acts to relay their location to 911.
So I had asked you about whether you had chased someone before, and you denied it to me, correct? About the East Bay Deli, you thought I was referencing, but you didn't chase anybody, right?
What page is that, so I can just see the context, please?
One second. Let me just ask you this, and I'll find you the page if you want to do that, but in terms of the East Bay Deli incident, you said that wasn't a chase, right? You told the judge you just sort of followed him down the street, you kind of parked, and you let him go.
That's how I remember it. I drew it on a map. Is how I remember it. It's been over 10, maybe 10 years.
Yes, sir. All right. This is how you remembered it on, I'm looking for 7:14 p.m., you call your mother. That's what this call is. It's audio number 59. It's in the exhibit that I've already filed, Your Honor. Go ahead.
No, I told you hear me tell the dispatcher, and this is another thing that's going to help me. You hear me tell the dispatcher, I'm going to follow him so you know where he's going. And I tell him, I said, look, this guy has a gun. He might shoot an officer. Be careful. And I told the dispatcher, I said, he's aiming his gun at us. If he shoots, I'm going to have to put this guy down. I think at one point the dispatcher said, I understand. And then when I told the dispatcher that I was going to follow him to tell them where he's going so a cop could catch him, the dispatcher said, okay. That's key. Because if they try to argue that you followed him and you shouldn't have, well, that's on dispatch. Because the story I can tell is, and Ken agrees, if they didn't want me to follow him, the dispatcher would have given the instructions not to. Because if you remember when that drunk guy came in East Bay Deli and stole off the saddle bar, and I chased him in my truck, and I told the dispatcher I was chasing him, the dispatcher told me don't do that. Then I pulled up into the parking lot where he was parked, and I blocked his truck in, so he couldn't leave till the cop got there. And don't you remember the dispatcher told me, sir, you need to move your vehicle because if you block his exit, he could say that's kidnapping. So they gave me instructions, and I followed their instructions. When I told this dispatcher that I'm going to follow this guy so I can tell you where he's going, his response was, okay. So there's no word.
But he didn't say okay, did he?
To my recollection, he did. But he also did not tell me not to, where this dispatcher in this incident told me what I can and can't do, what to and what not to do, and I followed their instructions.
And you remembered that in this moment, didn't you?
This isn't in that moment. This is November, over a month later.
No, sir.
You said this was November
This
9th?
is 2 days after you shot and killed Scott Spivey.
Okay, well then, yeah, I remembered it then too.
So it's on page 55, if you want to look at it in your deposition. And I asked you a question on line 16. You've been in a chase before, right? You there?
I'm trying to get
Line
to it.
18 is your answer.
Yep.
Chase? No, sir. That wasn't true, was it, Mr. Boyd?
It wasn't a chase, as what I explained to the judge and showed him the map. We literally pulled out of the deli. We drove 200 yards down a road, stopped twice at a stop sign. He turned into the laundromat, as I remember it, and I pulled up behind him.
Yeah. Well, and what we hear you in that call is you're getting your story straight, right? You're refining your story.
No, I'm recalling the previous incident years before about what happened there, and that they told me what to do. I followed their directions.
I don't know the mayor's name. Is it Hatley or Hadley?
Hatley.
Hatley. Is that a man or a woman?
It's a woman.
Okay. Neither she nor I had anything to do with what you decided to do that day on Highway 9, did you?
No.
Neither she nor I had anything to do with the words that came out of your mouth that we're going to hear in these phone calls, did we?
No.
Now, Mr. Moss had you on the stand and he asked you about the fact that you didn't know any of the officers out there. And you said you didn't know any of them.
Not that I can recollect.
Okay.
The ones I looked at, I didn't know, I don't think.
Go to audio 11. Good. It's the beginning. Let's start. So this is the I got a county judge part. And hold on just one second. person you're talking to is Bradley, right?
I don't know what you're about to play.
Okay. Well, Mr. Moss asked you earlier when you say, right before you call Brandon Strickland, the number 2 man at the county, you're telling Bradley, I got a county judge and a number 2 man. That's what we're going to hear. And you're telling Bradley to reassure him that it's going to be okay.
Okay?
That's right. Correct? You said yeah. Right?
I haven't. Can I hear it?
Go ahead and play it.
I've got a judge, a county judge, I've got Brandon with the SWAT team.
What's up, man?
Brandon, where are you at?
I'm at my house.
Can you come to Camp Swamp Road off of 9 like as fast as possible?
Yeah, what's wrong?
I had to shoot somebody.
You said I had to shoot somebody. You said Bradley had to shoot somebody. You said I had to shoot somebody, right?
Well, he doesn't know Bradley. I'm just saying, hey, this happened.
So, about 11 minutes later, he calls you back. Now pull up audio 55. And just so, I don't think the judge understands because he's a pretty sharp fellow. That is the number 2 man you were talking to right there, right?
That's what I believe, yes.
Yeah. Go ahead and play.
Hey, look.
Hey,
Look, I got the people coming that need to come, but I need you to listen to me and understand me for a second, okay?
okay.
It might not make sense now, but it'll make sense later. I want you to come out there, okay?
Yeah, I get it now. I understand.
You got the right people coming out there. You didn't need to know the people on the scene, did you?
He called me and told me that.
Okay. Now, you remember you questioned why on earth Damon Discovery would hand you that note, and then you said that you were pacing back and forth. I'm going to need you to bring up that video. You pacing back and forth, and I don't know if you said you think he felt sorry for you or what, but you couldn't fathom why he did it. I'm going to show you his dash camera video. Oh, no, that's fine. That's you sitting on your trailer, right?
Yes, on the left.
Yeah. You're not pacing, are you?
No, not at that time.
Okay. Start the play. Showed you the note, and he walks back to his patrol car, right?
Yes.
Okay. You couldn't understand why he did that, could you?
No, I didn't get it.
But you were on the phone with your lawyer in that call, weren't you?
I don't know. I would have to look at timestamps. You
I'm
could
gonna
probably
pull
tell me
the
on
next
the
video. I'll
phone.
pull it up. We'll pull up this body cam video so you can see it. Did you stop turning up? Yeah. You're not pacing there either, are you, Mr. Boyd?
No, at that point I'd been fussed at to sit down.
But in terms of what you told this court today, that the reason you think he showed you that note was because you were pacing back and forth. That ain't true, is it?
I had been pacing and I had been told to sit down.
That's right. And you've been sitting down, haven't you?
Since told that, yes.
He just asked you who you were on the phone with, and you said Ken.
Yes.
Damon Spivey? He said to tell you this. Do you want to talk to him? Yeah. Here. He and his thing. James says. Yeah, are you coming out here? Okay, you know how long you leave?
He said, Ken, this is Damon, right?
Yes.
Stay by, if you're happy coming out here, you just hang on here, I'll let them know you're close by, and we'll use
Who's talking? And then he walks back to his car, writes the note, he comes back, he shows it to you. Correct?
I believe that's when it happened, yes.
Now, go to audio 10. 17 seconds to minute 46. Just so you have some context, Mr. Boyd, this is the next morning, September the 10th, 9:10 a.m., 17 seconds. And you're on the phone again with Brandon Strickland. Number 2 man still at this time in Horry County.
Well, dude, I didn't come go last night. I did that for you because I didn't want anybody to be able to come back and say, like that other guy's family or something, say, oh, he's friends with the deputy chief and he was out there directing the investigation. You know what I mean?
No, I understood that completely. I think all the cops seemed to agree that it was 100% apparently he had pointed the gun at other drivers too before he even got to us.
He did. Well, and I'll tell you what happened after you called me. Now this is Brandon and Will, never to be spoke of again.
Okay.
I called my people, and the detective who met with you last night was Alan Jones, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, country guy,
Yeah.
good old boy. Well, that's who I sent out there, and I called the captain over investigation, told me that you were. And my next call was to Jimmy Rickens, because we always call him out on stuff like that. And I told him, I said, look, here's the deal. And he's like, okay, let me send we called him, he sent somebody from his office. He said, all right, he said, let me work on something. And he's the one that sent George the bus there last night, who was a solicitor. I don't know if you saw him or not.
Yeah, we spoke.
Okay, well, you were taken care of.
Well, I appreciate that. I mean, there's already people saying that I shot him because he's dating my ex. I mean, I don't even understand this shit. I don't even know the guy.
Why do you need to be taken care of if it's a clear-cut case of self-defense?
I answered a phone call and someone started talking to me. I didn't request to be taken care of.
Well, you actually did. You picked up the phone immediately, and you called him to come down there right away. Right? You just heard that.
I did call him. I did ask him to come. I didn't ask for anyone to take care of me.
And you also tried to assure Bradley that it was going to be okay, even though this was a clear-cut case of self-defense. Right?
I did try to reassure my friend that things were going to be okay.
Because he got in the battle, he stayed in the battle with you, didn't he?
He was being shot at, I was being shot at, and we fired back.
He got in the fight.
Judge, I know this has been a relatively objection-free hearing, and I know that it is a hearing, stand your ground hearing and not a trial, but on behalf of my client, Bradley Williams, I would like to interpose an objection and note for the court that the last two questions by Mr. Tinsley relating to the call to Brandon Strickland and the call, and the Damon Vescovi sign issue and the last call to Mr. Strickland are not relevant in any way whatsoever as related to why Mr. Spivey got shot and killed. And that's the purpose of this hearing. All of this is related to something totally different that Mr. Tinsley and Mr. Boyd are discussing, but not Bradley Williams. He's not calling any police. He was along for the ride. This happened. His position is he had to defend himself. This isn't relevant, so I know the court can take into account all matters if you want to in a hearing of the nature we have, but it's so hard for me to sit and not object when this isn't relevant, and I don't want you considering this against my client, Bradley Williams.
And I'm not suggesting it is, Judge.
And the court can distinguish, there's two separate people involved, Mr. Boyd and your client. I'll let him continue on. I understand your objection, and I will try to distinguish that.
Okay. Thank you, Judge.
All right. So next, after the lawyer established you didn't know anybody at the scene, actually, let's do this right quick. Can you go back to the place ward? Into you in the car. So this is just for the record. You remember when O'Brien, and it was a very astute catch, when he pointed out that there were raindrops on the window of, I think it's Detective Quick's car when he was interviewing Blaze Ward. Do you recall that?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Go ahead and see if you can. Yeah. All right. Pull it up. Now look in the rear. Look out that back window. Right there. That's your lawyer, isn't it?
Here it is. Well, I believe it is.
What's a good?
Okay, 9106.
Now, he didn't ask you a little bit about your truck, what kind of truck it was. That truck had what, 1,000 horsepower, 1,100? What is this big old truck?
No, 702 horsepower.
Oh, okay. But it would really go fast, wouldn't it?
It would, yeah.
Yeah. You posted about it on Facebook. Let's pull up the first one. How fast? What, 80 right there?
No.
How fast are you going? Let's slow it down now. We can run it again. You want to run it? Look, you put the stick on 80.
Well,
We're
this
gonna
right
play?
here is
Yep.
60.
We're going to play it again. Play it one more
Okay.
time.
So I stopped at 50.
Okay. How about the next one? We didn't have any trouble hearing you say shit in that, did we? We didn't have any trouble hearing you, though, over the, what'd you call those things in that truck?
Supercharger.
Supercharger.
It's a lot different at 100 miles an hour. It's louder. Faster you go, the louder it gets.
You knew your truck would outrun Scott Spivey's truck, didn't you?
Probably would.
Now, this is you racing with your dad, right?
Yeah.
January 1st, 2022, you're in the TRX, and is that a GMC truck he's driving, or is that a Chevrolet? I can't tell.
What are you getting at here, Mr. Tinsley?
What kind of truck is that your dad's driving in that video?
Well, first off, that's not a TRX.
Okay, what truck is that?
That is a diesel. I believe that's a 2020 2500 HD.
That's fine, we'll move on. Right, thanks. Pictures. So this is a post you made in May of 2022. Are you talking about the TRX here?
Yeah, that's TRX.
Okay. And tell us what the point of this post is. Uphill,
It's showing a 0 to 60 time.
0 to 60 in 3.98 seconds. Uphill, you say 13%? Pretty steep grade, right?
I don't know. Oh, yeah, I see that now. Yes.
Okay. Take you 10.3 seconds the last time you did it, in this one to get 100 miles an hour, but your best to get to 100 was 8.7 seconds, correct?
That's what the computer. No, yeah.
Well,
I saw braking. Yes.
and in fairness, so that everybody understands, those red lines are your lines, aren't they?
Yes.
Now, you said something earlier today about keeping 911 on phone. And the reason you did that is because you knew you wanted to be recorded when you killed Scott Spivey, didn't you?
I don't know if those are my words. I don't know what you're talking about.
When you turned on to, come on, we go into the, when you turned on to, or before you turned on to Camp Swamp Road, you made a demonstration to the judge talking about this distance, 75 feet, thought it might have been 90 feet. But before you pulled up to whatever that is depicted in that exhibit, you could see him about 60 yards away, couldn't you?
I disagree with that.
Okay. Will you at least agree that 60 yards, 60 times 3 be 180 feet, more or less, right?
Are we talking about on 9? I'm confused. Are we on
I'm
9?
asking you, do you agree that 60 yards is 180 feet?
Okay, yes.
All right, and he's 199 feet as measured with a rolling tape by the officer, correct?
Okay.
All right.
I'm confused where we're met. Are we talking about on how, I want to understand, are we on Highway 9 or are we on Camp Swamp? Are you talking about from the fog line to his tire?
I'm talking about the fact that you said the night of, before you pulled on the Camp Swamp Road, you could see him sitting 60 yards away.
When I turned onto Camp Swamp, I could now see his truck.
60 yards away.
Okay?
Go ahead and play. Just the night of.
60 yards off the road. So I stopped. And then that's when the door swung open. And
He's only 60 yards away.
Okay.
You also saw him stopping, because you tell the dispatcher on 911, he's stopping, right?
I saw brake lights and the door was open. I assumed he was stopping.
Okay. But you don't dispute, and I'm trying to go as quick as I can, we can go back and listen to the 911 call, that you said he's stopping,
I did say that in the 911 call.
Okay. And 60 yards would be a pretty good estimate from the fog line up to where he was stopped, right?
Okay.
You agree with that?
I agree.
And you nonetheless pulled down that road and pulled up to where you stopped your truck.
I had to come to a stop, and that took a little bit of distance, but I stopped significantly far behind him. I did not pull up on his truck.
Whatever distance you pulled, you were the one driving the vehicle down that road at that moment, weren't you?
I was driving the vehicle.
Yeah. Were you going so fast when you made that turn you were out of control?
No, I had a trailer and boxes in the back of the truck.
None of those fell out, did they?
They did not fall out.
Now, you remember telling the judge today that you had to drop your phone, turn around and look, you're looking for where to go, there's cars, and you're trying to, then you got confused where the shifter was on your truck?
I don't know that my phone had been dropped at that point.
But you said you had to drop your phone, right?
At a certain point, when I went for my gun is when I dropped my phone.
I'm going audio number 52. This is 52, 114. Through 25.
yeah, I'm fine. I mean, the dude just made shit choices. There's all kinds of stupid rumors going around that like he was with my ex. None of that shit's true. They had calls coming in before the dude even got to me. He was driving crazy by Bell and Bell. He ran other cars off the road. When he got up to me, I was pulling a trailer. Dude runs me into the ditch almost. I mean, I'm in the ditch in the median on 9 at 60 miles an hour. And all my shit's flying everywhere. He holds a gun out the window, aims right at us, aimed at another car that had like a 20-year-old driver in it. Then he turned down the road. I'm on the whole thing, the entire thing is recorded through 911 because I wanted it to be recorded. So I called and I was telling them step by step like. Because
I wanted it to be recorded.
I did want it to be recorded.
That's right. You knew what you were going to do. Go to audio 59, 130, 4 through 16.
Any other solution, he began firing. You hear him shoot, and then you hear me and Bradley engage, and it's just non-stop fighting. And then he crawls back in his vehicle, and you hear me and Bradley stop. So we didn't try to kill him at that point. When he got back in his vehicle and quit shooting at us, we quit shooting. You hear me?
Still being on 911?
All of it's recorded. I made sure the phone was sitting right between me and Bradley when this was going on so it could all be recorded. Even the dispatcher is...
Made sure it was sitting right between you, right? You didn't drop it. You had it sitting there so it would all be recorded on 911 when you did this.
I dropped the phone. It ended up there in the shuffling around. It ended up on the floor.
That's not what you told your mama, right? We just heard it. Truth was not in you, is it?
I dropped the phone, landed in between us. I assume in the shuffling around, it ended up on the floor.
Now, you told the judge about the memory on the tablet, and I couldn't quite follow. It takes a lot of memory to record dash cam videos.
Yes.
And you know this because you've done this before?
No, I knew this was an allegation against me, so I researched it.
Oh, okay. You removed the little SD card or whatever that was in your tablet, didn't you?
No, it's false.
It wasn't in it when it got to SLED, was it?
It was.
Okay. You had a second phone in your car this day, didn't you?
I did.
And it was collected by Tomasi, the lady who was up here earlier, the CSI lady, right?
I assume.
It had a, 1 terabyte worth of memory on it, didn't it?
I have no idea of knowing.
I can pull a picture up and we can see the back of it.
I'm not doubting you, I just don't know.
Okay. Yeah. Can you zoom in? It's okay, it's not on that. Now in your deposition, and I thought it was a curious thing, in your deposition, Mr. Moss asked you about this second phone. You all didn't give that second phone to SLED, did you?
I believe Horry County had that phone. That phone was not being used. It didn't have a SIM card or anything in it.
My question was, you did not provide the second phone to SLED, did you?
We provided the phones that were operating, so that phone did not go because it was not being used.
Says you.
Sorry?
Says you. We have to take your word for it, right?
I assume that phone did not go to SLED. I don't believe
No,
it.
it absolutely didn't go to SLED, and you absolutely did not turn it over to SLED. But my point was, it says you that it was not being used.
It wasn't being used. It doesn't have a SIM card. It's been sitting in there for months.
Now, I was surprised to hear you say you couldn't look at the truck because you really thought it was something to be proud of. Your truck, your windshield, right?
I thought it was a kind of a shock thing, an awe thing.
Probably number 7. This is September 12th, 8:51 in the morning, 21/6/19.
Give my truck and his truck to a third-party towing company. They tow it to their location. We go there and we pick them up.
What is that?
That might happen tomorrow.
Then you need to probably find out who can put a winch.
I'm gonna leave that fucker in for a week and ride around with it.
Well done.
No.
That's your mom and daddy you're talking to, right?
Yes.
You also told them that you enjoyed it, didn't you, killing Scott?
I don't recall the conversation, but I did make that comment.
And they told you to not tell Bradley that you enjoyed it, right?
I don't recall that part of the comment, but
Okay.
it's in there.
That's fine. I'll refresh your recollection on that.
Okay.
The same audio. 28. 23.
blast, but
Vehicle is.
hell no.
A SWAT.
Well, if you enjoy it, son, you just need to keep that to yourself, and I wouldn't even tell Bradley that. 'Cause, you know, you just, I mean, I know y'all friends and everything, but you wouldn't want Bradley to accidentally slip up and tell somebody that you said that.
Yeah, I know. But
And then come back to the 30. Well, let's just go. But you actually told Bradley that you had a fucking blast, didn't you?
I did say that. I don't recall the conversation, but I did
But
say
you do recall denying it in your deposition, don't you?
I said that everything was pretty terrible.
Which is the opposite of having a fucking blast, right?
Yeah, I truly believe that in these days I was going through a traumatic event. I believe I was having kind of a trauma situation, and I was saying things that just made no sense, trying to cope, and using dark humor, trying to cope. But I'm not denying any of these things. I'm eating them. I'm telling you that these things were said.
But here's the thing, Mr. Boyd, your dark humor doesn't start till your reputation starts getting trashed. Till your story begins to fall apart. That's when you start getting upset, because you're not upset in these calls, are you?
No, I think this is probably a different form of trauma.
This is an audio 48. This is with Bradley on September the 12th, 2023 at 7:51 p.m.
brother, I know it's fucked up to say, but I had a fucking blast. I know it's fucked up, but I'm a fucked up person.
Well, I mean, you know, it is what it is.
I had a good time.
I go to 99, 17, 31, 41, 3, 17,
To play the victim. That's the biggest thing, is Ken's made it very clear. You are the victim. Don't show sympathy, because what are you sad about? That it was you who lived and not him?
Yeah. I feel hurt, Marshall, dude. No emotion there. I mean, I don't give a fuck.
Do you not remember me telling you, like 2 years ago, that there ain't nothing to shoot somebody?
Yeah, it really isn't. Like,
I told you that like 2 years ago. I forgot what conversation we were having. We were talking to somebody, and they were like, I just don't know if I can do it. And I said, there ain't nothing to it.
come on, Carr.
But it's over. It's fun. We got that experience. We got a stateside notch.
Yeah.
We should go get teardrop tattoos.
You know, I didn't want to say that, but when we was going home from the farm, that's what I first thought was, we got to get teardrop tattoos or spider web or those.
We got to find somewhere on our body to put a teardrop. I'm doing it. Me and you are going to fucking do it. I don't give a shit. We're doing it.
Oh my gosh. Bad buddies.
Dark humor.
Now that you call it dark humor, right?
No, it's always dark humor. That's how I cope.
You giggle like a little girl when you're coping,
I do giggle.
especially when you're having fun, right?
I've had a very difficult time with all of this.
Oh, I can't
And
do
this
it.
was filmed, this was recorded in the immediate days after, when I am still in a state of confusion, shock, trauma. And I'm trying to cope best I can. I use dark humor. I have ups, I have downs. I'm crying, I'm laughing, I'm happy I'm alive, I'm paranoid. It is an up-down episode, and from everything I've seen, that is a totally normal situation for someone to be in after they go through something like that.
Well, that's right, because there's nothing to killing somebody, is it?
When someone's trying to kill you, it's the easiest decision you'll ever make.
When you told him 2 years before this that there was nothing to kill somebody, nothing to killing somebody, what'd you base that on?
We were having a conversation with somebody about if someone broke in your house and tried to kill you, do you think you'd hesitate? And my response was, I believe when your life is on the line and someone's ready to take it, it's the easiest decision you'll ever make.
Okay. There were a couple of questions about you, and you described where you were in the road when you took the photographs of Scott's truck, because your concealed weapon permit training told you to document everything. You remember talking about that?
Yes, sir.
And how you sounded like you just took one picture to me in your testimony, but you didn't just take one picture, did you?
No, I took several.
Okay, all right. And can you pull up the first one? I know that's terribly small, right? Can you zoom in on it? The time. 6:05:59, correct?
Yes.
All right, now go to the other one. 6:05:20.
Okay.
39 seconds you're down there at that truck, right? At least, by these photos. Yes? You have to say it out loud.
Yes.
And when you told him the phone calls about taking pictures of the brain matter on Scott's dash, did you do that or were you just lying?
I think in the other photo, if you zoom all the way in, you can see some kind of stuff on the dashboard. Yes, that one. I think if you zoom all the way in, you can see.
Right, zoom in.
I think if you make a smaller square, it will zoom further in.
You want him to zoom in some more?
Well, I'm trying to show you what you're asking
Okay,
about.
well tell him. I don't mind you talking to him. Tell us where the brain matter is.
This one's actually heavily pixelated. I don't think it looks like this on the phone. But I believe there was something up in here.
Like up on top of the dash?
Somewhere. I don't know what it was. I just saw.
No, I'm just trying to clarify what you're saying. You're saying that up on top of the dash, like closer to where the windshield meets the dash, is where you say you saw it?
I don't really remember where I saw it. I thought it was somewhere near the vent.
Yeah. You can't see it in that picture, can you?
I mean, it is pixelated.
Now, you told the dispatcher, I think you said you wanted him to, when you said we're going to have to shoot him or we're going to have to put him down, you said both after you told him you were after him, how serious the situation was. And you knew how serious it was, didn't you?
It was serious.
At the very beginning, you knew how serious this was.
I did.
And nonetheless, whatever distance you were, you continued to go after him. Those are the words you said here today.
I continue to follow him, yes, at various distances.
Various distances. And at times you went very fast over the speed limit to maintain that distance.
I did go over the speed limit. I don't know how fast I went.
I'm gonna go to the map. All right, so this is the data downloaded from SLED. And I want to go back. It's the same as your map. It's just got the data points loaded on there. And you see right there in the center, Tractor Supply.
Yes.
Okay. And that's Hugh. How about zoom on in? Zoom on in. Come on in. And we're going to pick this first data point. Click on the first one. It doesn't matter, the back one. That works. All right. 17:49 and 28 seconds. Okay?
Okay.
In Exhibit 19, you said you had just sent the text at 5:49, and then you encountered Scott Spivey, right? Somewhere around there.
Now, I believed it was somewhere around there. That was the last text message I sent, and then they replied, and I never replied back.
I understand. Time you pull on Highway 9, right there after you came from Tractor Supply, based on your testimony today, you encountered Scott Spivey.
It's cross-examination, he clarifies the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, so somewhere around that, the way I understand it is, the last text message I sent was at 17:49.
That's right.
The next event, sometime around then, is when I did encounter Mr. Spivey.
Okay. Now we're gonna scroll on the, zoom out. We're gonna go to Pine Needle, because Pine Needle is where Mr. Moss showed you the photos. You start talking about the brake checking event, right?
Okay.
You agree with that?
I don't know if that's where we talked about those things, but okay.
Come on up. Now, Hugh, how about stop 1 second? Just click on any one of these red points. So that one gives us a speed of 91.3 miles an hour, and that's at 17:51.
Okay.
Slow down. Go ahead, easy. All right, well, stop right there. So we're just now getting to Minuteman, right?
Okay.
You agree with that?
Yes, sir.
All right. And we know for a fact that you're after him by then, because you demonstrated here and you said, Mr. Moss asked, you said, words to that effect, were you on his ass there? Right?
Yes.
Okay. So no question, you're in pursuit by the time we get to Minuteman, correct?
I'm following him, yes.
Okay. Well, you told the dispatcher you were after him and he was running from you, right? Come on.
At some point, he accelerated away from me with the
Up,
truck.
up. Check, but we're doing all this talking. He didn't call, Weldon didn't call 911 until.
I'm getting to that. I'm getting to that.
Okay, well.
That's the point. I'm getting
Okay.
to it. Keep going easy. There's Pine Needle. Now, zoom in, Hugh. Now go back down here to the bottom, Hugh. There's a camera looking to you. Click on that. That's that photo you told us about. Click on the photo for me, Hugh. And y'all marked that photo, didn't you? That's your photo. Bradley may have taken it, but you marked it.
I have to find it.
It's okay. We'll just keep going. I'm
I
just
think
trying
we
to.
put them up on the screen, we didn't hand up a.
Oh, okay. So, but this is as we're coming to Pine Needle, go up the queue to the next one. Remember you talking about that one?
Right.
That's your headlight shining there in the back of his truck, right?
I assume so, yes.
And this is the little crossover right there at Pine Needle, correct?
I assume so, yes.
All right, now back out. There's no question you're after him here, right?
I'm following him, but this is also when he's doing the slow back down and all that other stuff.
Okay. Well, he slowed back down because he was just going 100 miles an hour.
Well, I think that was before we got here. Can you click the speed on that dot?
Which one?
The green dot at the photo, please?
Right after he brakes? Yeah, click on the green dot after the photo. Now,
Click the yellow one.
57.
Click the yellow one. That's before he brakes.
Okay, click the yellow.
62, so I don't see 100 mile an hour there.
Well, trust me, it's there. I mean, I'll go back and go through it. But what we're going to get to what Mr. Martin's point. So scroll back out, Hugh, and I want you to crawl back up till we get. All right. So he's on up. He's on up. And look, whoop, stop right there. Can you get those speeds back up again? Either in or out? No. Come on up to, get up there to where the red starts, right there past the recycling center. Whoop, hold on. 90, 91. Come on. Click on any one of those red ones right there. That's a good one. That's fine. Any of them. 113 miles an hour.
Mm-hmm.
That was a yes?
Yes, sorry.
All right. Now we get right here. Zoom in right there. That's Marlowe Circle. That's the first place that you tell the 911 dispatcher that you're approaching when the call starts, right?
Okay.
You agree with that?
That's the first landmark I passed in name. I believe I called before we got there.
I don't disagree with that. You called about 52 seconds to my account because I was watching when Mr. Moss was playing it.
Okay.
And I'll tell you that we can count back 52 of those dots because they're one every second. And we can still see that we are way beyond where whatever started, right?
Right, yes.
Okay. And for you to be in whatever proximity that you are in relation to Scott Spivey, who has been going over 100 miles an hour, you got to be going the same speed, don't you?
No, not necessarily.
Okay.
There's a lot of variables to that, I think.
When you saw him point the gun at Bradley's head, and you knew he was a danger, he needed to be gotten off the road, but you don't pick up the phone and call 911 for a long time, do you?
No, I get back on the road and then he's still messing with us.
And you're going fast, so you got to keep both hands on the wheel right there, don't you?
Well, I'm not on him here, Mr. Tinsley.
You agree with me that the 911 operator never asked you a single question that required you to tell him where Scott Spivey was?
My understanding of 911 is to do just that for them.
Okay, look, I get you going to try to fix every answer, but you agree, I asked you this in your deposition, he never asked you where you were, because you told the judge I was answering his questions and relaying the information, and that's not what was happening. You just tell him we're coming up on Marlowe Circle, and other than that, you don't tell him anything till you get to Camp Swan.
He asked me about a license plate. He asked me about the type of truck. He asked me about, I believe he asked about the type of truck. He asked about where he was turning off on. He was asking me information.
Location information.
Well, to keep eyes on him and to relay information to answer those questions, I have to be within his location.
You told the judge today, I'm relaying his location to 911.
Correct.
not one single time, the judge will have the transcript, he's heard the audio already, I'm not going to play it again, but not one single time did you say where he was. You said, we're passing Marlowe Circle, unless he was there at Marlowe Circle with you.
No, I don't know what road he's passing because he's out in front of me. I'm letting him know where I am within eyesight of Mr. Spivey.
So when you told the judge that you were relaying his location, Scott Spivey's location, today in this courtroom, you just misspoke again, right?
I was relaying my location with Mr. Spivey in eyesight. I don't know if he's passing the road, what that road is, because I haven't gotten to it yet, Mr. Tinsley.
He testified today that Scott Spivey got out of his car, I wrote it down, steps into the oncoming lane and begins walking. Your deposition, you said he advanced on you.
He did advance on me.
Okay. He's not standing in the door of his truck when he begins to shoot, according to you, is he?
No, he's not.
He's at least moved to the back of his truck, if not beyond that, according to you, under oath, right now. I'm just trying to get clear what you're going to say.
I believe he was, can I show you?
Yeah, feel free to show me.
As I can recall today, I believe he was, I don't know where the center, I don't think there's a center line. Is there a center line on this? I don't think there is one, is there?
That may be the center line. I'm not sure. I just want to know in relation to the truck, and I want you to put an X where you think about that he stopped.
I think he probably stopped somewhere around here.
Okay.
But the center line is not, the truck, both of our trucks were much closer to the center line.
Okay. And I appreciate that. I mean, but as far as stepping into the oncoming lane, is it now your testimony he did step into the oncoming
No,
lane?
he was in the incoming lane.
Okay. Frank McMurrow didn't run over him, right?
No, he did not run over him.
Okay. But as far as where he was standing there, that's not what you said the night of the shooting, is it? Because the night when you go back to the station and y'all all sitting around with good old Alan Jones, you say he's standing in the door.
When he got out, he was standing in the door.
All right.
And then he advanced towards us.
Okay, play it.
Where was he standing when he started shooting at you? So he opened the car door, and at that point I had stopped, and that's when I was trying to get back. If this is the front of his truck, he opened the car door, and he got out and had his pistol, and he just started doing, he was mouthing, I couldn't understand him. And I think that's what I was saying, he's got a gun, he's got a gun. He wrapped it, and that's when Bradley started hollering, back up, back up, back up. And I don't know why, but he did this like Matrix thing. He did like that. And at that point, I looked right down the barrel, and it started going off. And that's when I just brake pedal, drew my weapon, and I engaged.
Was he standing, I guess, behind his truck?
No, sir. The door would be right here.
So he was beside his truck?
He was beside his truck. And then after I fired, I kept firing.
Right. So
He was in the door, right?
I think the part I left out of that was he walked forward because I was trying to explain it.
Mr. Boyd,
The door would have been right here. He was not behind his truck, as in here. He was not behind his truck. He got out of his truck, the door's here, and he advanced forward.
Judge, all of these audio calls are in the record. I've cited to them. I can do this there's 8 hours of calls, and I can do this for hours. I'm going to rely on what we've put in the record. I don't think I need to play anymore to demonstrate what you've seen here is the case.
Or any of the lawyers. I got Bo and y'all, is there anything y'all mentioned, presented in this hearing for the last 3 days that's not agreed in? Everything's in.
Yes, sir.
Correct, I agree.
So all the recordings in, all the depositions in, everything's in for my consideration.
Yes, sir.
All right, record's clear.
Yes.
For purpose of this hearing.
The only thing that I was,
Well, yeah, you're right. For purposes of this hearing, nothing
All
further.
right, so what you got, Mark?
I do agree with that. The 911 call that we played from Boyd's phone, the 911 call from the 911 center is also the record that happened.
And that's when we had to mute or something when we were listening back to it. There's 2 calls. Now in one's version, his phone's version. It should be identical, but it's two recordings.
But you should have a,
Okay. Fair enough.
One was MP3.
Hope they did it right. All right. You done?
I mean, yes, I think you understand.
I do. All right. Mr. Martin, come on. You've been up here closely listening. Your turn.
All right, Mr. Boyd, I want to go over a few things with you. First of all, the Dodge Ram truck that you had, besides being fast, is one that has some special soundproofing, doesn't it?
Correct.
Do what?
Yes, sir.
All right, explain to the judge the soundproofing characteristics of that truck.
To my understanding, that vehicle comes with extra sound dampening in the trim area and in the doors, and then the windshield itself has an additional layer of sound dampening. I don't know what they put in it, but it's a see-through sound dampening thing.
And that is in an effort to make that what could be a loud vehicle as quiet as possible.
To try and quiet down the supercharger noise for
Fair to
inside.
say it has extra special soundproofing characteristics.
That's the way I understand it.
All right. Now, that day, your truck you're driving, right?
Yes, sir.
Bradley's not driving.
No, it's not.
At no point in time does Bradley drive. Right?
Correct.
And we got a lot of the on the 911 call of the trip between 905 and Camp Swamp Road. Bradley's not telling you at any time how to drive, is he?
No, sir.
He's not telling you to try to catch up to him, is he?
No, sir.
Bradley did not tell you to turn down Camp Swamp Road, did he?
No, sir.
Bradley didn't advise you on how to drive or what to do, did he?
No, sir.
Bradley was just along for the ride.
Bradley was along for the ride.
And Bradley did at some point in time on the 911 call ask you to slow down.
Correct. The other truck was trying to get back next to us.
All right. And so Bradley asked you to slow down.
Yes.
That's part of the 911 call. Can you find that up, Ron?
Yeah.
I'm going to ask a couple of questions while he's working on that. But the pistol that you had,
Yes, sir.
you zero a pistol in, don't you?
You do?
In order so that it will hopefully hit what you're shooting at a particular distance.
Correct.
And your pistol was zeroed in at 7 yards. Is that correct?
I believe so, yes.
All right. Now, when you pulled into Camp Swamp Road, according to this exhibit, I guess it's evidence.
Not put it on the back.
See it, Judge. There's not one on this. Maybe we need to put one on and enter it, I guess.
The CSI detective, the young lady, that's her exhibit, or her drawing.
It is her drawing, and it's been testified to repeatedly.
The CSI report is in the exhibits, in the 11 of that in the CSI report.
This is a blow up of page 11 of her report.
Okay,
I'm
all
not
right.
gonna say page 11.
If the court wants to cooperate, we'll do that.
Page
but I don't-
36, Mayor
It's
County?
exhibit 36.
It's exhibit 36, Your Honor, but it is a blow up from one of the pages of exhibit 19. which is
Okay,
the
I don't want to
CSI
get bogged down, I just don't
We all
want the
agree
record to
everything's
be
in.
clear. This blow up of Officer Tomasi, which was supposedly drawn to scale, of where your car and where Mr. Spivey's truck was that night, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And he had pulled in and stopped as you turned in and stopped.
Yes, sir.
All right. And the distance between those vehicles, according to her scale, is 75 feet 7 inches, right?
Yes, sir.
All right, so that'd be a little over 25 yards.
Correct.
All right, your pistol zero in at 7 yards, right?
Yes, sir.
Now, 25 yards, and I stepped it off, is from right here to the back of this courtroom. Okay? And then we can all measure it later if you want to verify my stepping off. But that would be the distance that was between your truck and Mr. Spivey's truck, right?
Yes, sir.
Roughly,
Yes, sir.
approximately. Okay, now your pistol's not zeroed in at 7 yards, is it?
No, sir.
You knew that, didn't you? I mean, it is zeroed in
It
at
is,
7 yards,
yes.
not 15, not 20, not 25
Sorry, I
yards.
got confused. Yes.
Yeah,
Right.
he asked you a question.
I just went for a ride.
As I understand it, the question was asked before, zeroed in at 7, yes. Now we're talking about the distance between the trucks.
And-
Rephrase your question.
Correct. And my point is, you knew that when you came to a stop 25 yards away from Mr. Spivey, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
And you could have pulled up right to him, couldn't you?
I could have.
All right, and if you wanted to be sure if some have alluded, and I ask you this because I'm defending Bradley and he's part and parcel of where we are, if you guys had had any agreement, or even you in and of yourself had decided, I just want to run him down and kill him, then you could have driven up to a range to where your pistol would have been deadly, couldn't you?
I would have closed the distance.
All right. And you stopped as quickly as you could, right?
I did.
All right.
All right.
You got it?
She would be saying.
We're back to the 911 call.
Then he tried to slam on. And my buddy's like, what the fuck? And he's got a gun aimed at us next to us. Then he tried to slam on.
Do you know where it is in there, O'Brien?
He just said it.
And just say it.
He just said it.
See, I can't hear a good judge, but the fact is, did you hear it?
Yeah, I heard it.
Slow down, slow down.
And it's still on the screen, the last two slow down.
Hey,
5:14.
that's good. That's
Yeah,
good.
he said it 3 times.
Okay.
I got you, boy.
So it is a fact that if as far as anybody chasing, pursuing, following, trying to catch up to, Bradley is telling you to slow down.
Correct.
Slow, right?
Yes, and I slowed down.
Okay. Now, I want to go back. Mr. Tinsley asked you about the text with the 549 text to somebody. Who was that somebody about the car being picked up?
I believe Diane Alice.
All right. Now, and then he made a point to say, and it was that you had said that it was right about that time that you encountered Scott Spivey.
Yes.
All right. Now, You didn't encounter Scott Spivey up by Bell and Bell, did you?
No, sir.
You didn't encounter Scott Spivey until you got up near the Aberdeen Golf Course, did you?
After I crossed the river.
After you crossed the Walkamaw River,
Correct.
which is nowhere close to Bell and Bell, is it?
No, sir.
So, to clarify the record, was it around Bell and Bell that you ran into Mr. Spivey, or was it past the Walkamaw River up near Aberdeen?
It was past the Walkamaw, and I can explain the confusion there. We have an entire team of people helping me go through all this stuff, and people are relaying information to me. They're telling me times, they're telling me places. Mom's job on this part was to look at the text messages and see when the last one was sent, because it must have happened after that point. The last one she came back and told me was your last text message was at 5:49, so your encounter with Mr. Spivey had to have happened after that text.
That's enough explanation. It did happen after that, didn't it?
It did.
It happened about 4 miles after that,
Correct.
didn't it? So there was no 9-mile chase, follow, pursue, or encounter of any kind, was there?
There's never been a 9-mile chase.
That's all.
Do it. All right.
Statements.
Yeah. Hey, you're all right. You got your lawyer up there.
Slow down comments, Brad. What was going on when you made those?
When he made those, Mr. Spivey was up here in the right lane, we were in the left lane, and we noticed, I didn't notice it, Bradley noticed, I guess, behavior indicating that he was going to start trying to do what he was doing to us back here, where he was trying to get back next to us again, like Mr. Wright talked about. And I guess he saw it. I didn't see it yet. He saw it, and he was alerting me, slow down, slow down, slow down, so that I could start, and I did. And I started to back off and slow down to keep that distance, existing distance, about the same.
Anything in front of Mrs. Spivey's truck that required him to stop?
No, he kept hitting traffic. And
Well, let me improve my question. I'm talking about on Camp Swamp Road.
no, when he turned, we went on, I saw that white truck turn, and immediately after, Spivey bolted across the right lane and onto Camp Swamp Road, and they went. It wasn't like they started doing, they went. So when I got up to Camp Swamp Road and I began my turn, I'm looking at the road sign, and then when I look back straight, he's there. The white truck is completely gone. There's no vehicle. He's there.
Nothing's in front of him.
In his lane, there's nothing in front of him all the way up.
All right. He stopped by the time the police got there.
Yes.
Anytime, in all these recordings and these texts, did you ask anyone in the Horry County Police Department to do anything to change the facts, manipulate the evidence, ever?
I have never asked any law enforcement officer in this entire ordeal to do anything for me.
And we haven't seen it in this courtroom, have we?
You're not going to see it. I didn't do that.
Now, some of these conversations you had would suggest that, for example, the conversation from Brandon Strickland, I sent the right people out there. From these records, we now know Alan Jones was on call that night, don't we?
We do.
He was the on-call detective for that part of the county.
That was who was coming to any situation regardless.
Brandon did not come, right?
Brandon did not come.
Have you learned in this investigation about Brandon contacting his boss, chief.
I was made aware of that more recently than earlier.
Okay. That night.
He did.
He said, Chief, do you know what he said?
Now, I believe I was told this earlier on, but my memory's still bad then. But he told his supervisor what had happened, the phone call he got, and I believe he told him that he did not need to go out there because he did not want to cause any kind of issues.
Now, are you aware of whether or not Brandon Strickland called the solicitor that night?
That I don't recall.
Judge, I would suggest to you, this witness would not be part of the conversations, and it wouldn't really be appropriate for me to ask him what they said because he wasn't a part.
And I agree with you.
But I would also suggest to you that it's been represented in this court somehow because of these phone calls that other people, comments they made. There's some suggestion that my client was receiving a favorable consideration or that my client was receiving communication in response to some communication he
That
gave.
sounds like a good argument.
But it didn't happen.
Look,
I would ask
I
for
know
this.
what calls were made because y'all presented them.
Well,
I understand you can argue that. It can be argued the other way as well. And that's just part of what the court's got to do.
well, I understand.
That's when I start weighing.
Well, it is a good argument, and bear with me here, this is not a trial, but we will make some remarks. But because of the nature of this hearing, there's an investigation that may be germane to that piece of who called who that night. And I believe this court might be, the court might benefit from that information. And it will be public record, and I believe this court can acquire it and get it for the purposes of this hearing and this immunity hearing. My client won't have it, we won't have it, none of us will have it. But it is absolutely germane to this issue, and I believe the court can get it at the court's inquiry.
All right.
I have no further questions.
All right. You good? All right. That's it. You free to step down.
Thank you.
Well, we get it done today. We did.
Thank you.
Thank all y'all for sticking with it, because I wanted Mr. Boyd's testimony to be concluded in one day so that he didn't have to maintain his vigilance overnight. That's a tough thing to do. So we'll start anew tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, provided I'm not late again. All right. See you in the morning, 9 o'clock.